These are the exercises that we need to be doing, not for rehab, but maybe they are rehab exercises, but we're trying to stop you from needing to rehab. You can do this as an extension of your warm-up before you go play. You can do it before you warm up for the wonderful strength and conditioning workout that Sunny's gonna provide his members. And it's also something you can just do every day as a, health of shoulders, spine, knees, hips, all that stuff. Okay, this is just a little band. You can use any kind of band. It can be a TheraBand. It can be a band with loop handles. These are sort of like ones we use for chin-ups. You're gonna put it behind your back, and I want it sort of through, so my shoulder blades, kind of through the middle of your shoulder blades. So you're gonna go down on the mat on all fours. Okay, most people have heard of cat-cow. This is a cat-cow with a band, and what the band is doing is, what we find in cat-cow is most people move their neck and their low back, but they forget about this chunk in here. This movement is what moves in concert with your shoulder blades, which actually helps to prevent shoulder injuries. Okay, so that's why I'm harping away at this part of your back. Yeah, I actually wouldn't mind it even a little higher, so right through the armpits. So try and bring it up just a little so that we're here, yeah. So we're kind of right at the bottom border of our shoulder blades. So now I want you to go into cat-cow. Okay, everyone's done this before probably. So that's cow, where we're in full extension. And now I want you to inhale as you go into cat. Okay, and the reason I want that is I want you to spread your shoulder blades apart. I want you to open your rib cage up, and he's got a nice rounded position, especially here. Can you feel the band here? Yep. So you have to work, and it brings proprioception and awareness for your brain to this section of your spine. So now I want you to inhale as you go down into cow, and you're gonna feel how the band sort of pulls you down. So now you're aware of this section of your spine moving. It's not just here and here, but we're actually having to move through here. So keep going through that. I want you to inhale and spread everything open here, get as much range as we can, and exhale as everything drops down. So now we're gonna take this section of our back and we're gonna move it in rotation, which is a lot more what we need in tennis, okay? So you can take the band off and you're gonna lay on your side. You're gonna hold the band in both hands. And I want you to stack your knees up and sort of like you're sitting in a chair. Yeah, just like that, perfect. Now you're gonna lay right down and you're gonna have your hands out, and that's called close the book. Okay, now this hand, the bottom hand's gonna stay where it is. The top hand is gonna as you exhale, you're gonna rotate. And you may you'll decide how much you wanna hold the band or how much tension you want. But now we're gonna take our spine through rotation with straight arms and an exhale to go that way. This hand stays here, and you're gonna look to your hand all the way over, and you're trying to exhale and rotate. Can you put your head down? Yep, good. And then inhale to come back. There it is. And then you're gonna exhale and rotate. And I want you to try to keep your knees stacked up. So what a lot of people will do is they'll lift this knee up and they'll let this go. Feel how you don't get as much rotation there, right? You need the knees together to plug the hips in and keep the hips locked in, and then the arms can move. Okay, good. So we got our spine moving. So now you're gonna flip onto your belly on the mat, and we're gonna do what's called a capsule articular rotation, a C.A.R. We call them shoulder C.A.R.s, C.A.R.S. So capsule articular rotation. Our shoulder joint needs to be able to move through its full range of motion. So you're gonna put your forehead right down on the mat. I want you to be able to relax your neck. Yeah, you can slide back. You're gonna start with your arms straight out and your thumbs up. So arms right out in front of you, good. As you move, I'm gonna get you to come to a T, and as you come to a T, we're gonna start rotating that humeral head, this arm bone here. Yeah. And then as we go back towards our hips, the thumbs go down, and then we're gonna rotate the pinky fingers towards our hips. Keep your arms straight, yep. And then we're gonna reverse that. So then you're gonna come back to a T, and you're gonna go palms down, and then you're gonna keep going overhead, and you're gonna go thumbs up. And even here, if you can let the thumbs drift out a little, then you're getting full twist. So it's almost like I'm squeezing, you can keep moving, I'm squeezing that shoulder blade, all the motion that I can out of it, and I'm really lubricating through that shoulder joint. And at the very end, see if you can, don't reach for your hip, but actually twist. Remember, it's all here. I don't care what your wrists are doing, it's all movement in that arm bone. Yep, and keep going.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then palms down when you get to a T, thumbs up when you get overhead, and even let the thumbs drift out to the side. And a good progression to this one is to start to hold something in your hand. Once you feel like you can get through that range of motion pain-free, you can take like, you know, a little 1 pound dumbbell or a soup can or something that's got a little bit of weight to it and just hold it in your hands. And that will provide a little bit of resistance for you. That is one of my favorite exercises. And I think nobody ever regrets doing that one, because that's full range of motion for your shoulders in a pain-free manner is absolutely crucial if you're gonna be a tennis player. So we're gonna now, so that I would call an activation and mobility, because you felt there was work involved, right?
Oh, yeah,
There's muscle
burning,
work. Yeah, there was burning, but you're also creating mobility in your shoulders with strength. So now we're gonna move to the yoga block. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can use really anything. Sometimes we use a foam roller and just use the very end of the foam roller, but you're gonna kneel on the yoga block facing this way, and let's start with our left knee on the block. So now we're gonna start activating our core, okay? Your obliques are the muscles that wrap around your body like this, and they're responsible for rotation. So that's everything in tennis, right? Or it's supposed to be, okay?
Supposed to be, yeah.
And if this is not strong and not moving, we tend to see shoulder and elbow and wrist injuries
more arms,
because
smaller muscles.
Exactly, using the smaller muscles instead of using that full kind of chain. So we need to warm them up and we need to make sure they're strong and working. So you're gonna go into all fours as if you're gonna do a cat-cow. So the knee that's on the block, I'm gonna call the standing knee, okay? That thigh bone, I want you to keep taking a peek down and make sure it stays vertical, okay? So what sometimes people do is they shift their hips way over this way to try and do what we're gonna do. That takes you out of your core. I want you to lift your right knee up to the height of your left knee. So you're getting some rotation in your lumbar spine. So keep the foot at the same, it's just hovering above the ground, and try and really lift that thigh bone up. Come on, come up into my hand here. There it is, and then back down. Can you feel your core starting to work on that right side?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so those are your obliques. That's really good. And now I'm gonna get you to reach that right foot back, and I've got a slider there. If you're at home, you can just have a sock foot, but if you have your shoes on, your foot doesn't slide very well. So the opposite arm is gonna come up overhead. So this is a bird dog type position, but because we're tennis players, we need to have good hip mobility and stability. So you're gonna arc your left foot out to the side as far as you can. You're gonna slide it along the floor, and then you're gonna slide it back. And the whole time, this standing knee and thigh is staying vertical. And now you're really kicking into your obliques. You should feel a ton of work here. You feel that?
Oh yeah.
So what are you noticing with this one?
Hips for sure. And also in here.
Yep.
Shoulder,
standing
balancing
arm.
right here.
Yep. Good.
This is really good.
One more cue I would give is to push this standing arm up into my hand. So push yourself up into my hand. So now you're clicking into your serratus, which is a major stabilizer of your shoulder blade. So if you're thinking about pushing up and away here, you've got the perfect trifecta. You've got, your core work happening here. You've got some strength work happening here. So you've got this sling, but you've also got this sling because our body works in those crosses, and that's how we become a healthy tennis player. So now we're getting the ton of work in our hips, but muscle work as well as mobility. So I like to see the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, okay? And then this standing thigh, the key to the whole thing is to keep this standing thigh vertical. So that's warming up our core. Now, we're gonna take our shoulder C.A.R.S one level further, and we're gonna take a band. Some of these ones are hard to do when you're at the tennis court because you're laying on the ground, it's not available, right? So this one is something that you can do, especially when you're outside in the summer on the net. So I typically would just take my band and I just put it around the net and I cross it. So you're gonna take that band in both hands. Yeah. And what I want you to do is I want you to walk forward until your arms are in line with your body. Okay, now this is a really light band, so you don't want a super heavy band or else you're gonna be recruiting the bigger muscles. I want you to use the smaller muscles for this, okay? So I want you to feel like you're reaching your knuckles for the ground, okay? And then you're gonna start to draw little circles. So the circles are coming from up here. The elbow stays straight, the wrist stays straight, and it's just motion happening through the shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. And now I want you to change the
shoulders right away.
Great, change the direction. Yep, there we go. A little bit of thinking, good. And again, the goal is to stay in line with your body. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, just adjust the tension, move up and back.
Exactly. And you might have to move as we move our arms, because now I'm going to get you to go into a T. So bring your arms up to a T, and you'll probably have to move a bit closer. Take a step towards the post, yeah? And now start doing those circles again. Yeah, excellent. And then also, as with all of them, it helps when you breathe, right? Yes. So if you're holding tension in your chest and shoulders, you can't move freely here, right? And then the third position is going to be a Y position. So this one's tough. So you want to come in nice and close. Exact same thing. Start those motion. So as you're going, I want you to feel like you're minimizing the stress here and letting your shoulder blades, see if you can let them just slide into their back pocket. There you go. Into their back pockets. Just let them fall. And then that motion can happen and all the strength can happen around here versus just up there. Okay, this is the hardest one because a lot of people get stuck up in their upper traps. And then you switch directions there too. So palms forward, so you're a little bit turning them up, just make sure they're, yeah, exactly. Yep. Excellent. And then I like to, at the end of this, I like to then keep the tension on and just bring my arms through sort of almost, I feel like I'm doing a snow angel with that tension. Make sure you breathe though. You're getting tense there, you're getting a little tired. Come all the way down by your hips. And then all the way back up. Keep the palms facing forward. So you're here. Yeah, there you go. Up and down. Good. And that's that C.A.R. that we did on the mat as well in a bit of a different way. You know, if you're just beginning and you're maybe coming from a shoulder injury or something, maybe you just do this position and then you take a rest. And then you come into this position, take a rest. If you feel like you're up into here, you're missing the boat. So it's better to stop and rest and work up to creating enough endurance that you can finish with that whole sequence that you did. But it's important to hit all the positions because your arm gets in those positions with tennis.
Yes, all the time,
Yeah.
For sure. That was good. That was really good.
Good. So we're going to go to the wall now, and we're going to do our last little prehab thing, which we love here, is for hips and knees. Okay, we get a lot of hips and knee issues, right, in tennis, especially as people are getting older and they're maybe not keeping their strength up as much as they should, and the balance of hamstrings and quads. All you need is a wall. Even if you're outside, you can even use the tennis post. Yeah. You can use the fence probably as well. But what I'm doing is I'm taking this part of my leg from my knee to my ankle and I'm pushing it into the wall. Okay. Now I want my hip to be just a couple inches off the wall. So right away, I can feel work in my hips because I'm pushing hard into the wall, right? Yeah. Bring your foot right underneath you. So bring it in just a little so that so if I stand up, I'm hip distance. Take that foot, good.
So we go like there?
Yep, exactly, yep. And now, so already I can see you don't like where we are because you're wanting to lean away, right? You can feel that in the outside of the hip.
Right here, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I can feel it in my standing hip and this hip. Now, I don't want my shoulder to touch the wall, and that's part of the work, okay? I want to avoid that. So now from here, you're just going to unplug your back hip and bend that knee just slightly, just maybe 30 degrees, and then stand up. This leg is not going to move because it's glued to the wall. Ooh, I can feel it in my hip big time already. Good. Keep going. Yep. And then, so we're getting activation of that VMO, the inside muscle of our knee, as well as both of our hip abductors that are responsible for this, right? So all the time, tennis, you're moving side to side. So we want to get we want those muscles to be firing, we want them to be strong, and that's what protects our knees.
Are they firing all right?
They're firing, yeah. So spin around and set yourself up on this side, and you can maybe repeat the key points so you can help others.
So this leg goes against the wall. With our heels and our knee both touching the wall. My shoulder is not. I'm going to push my hip out.
But not touching the wall.
But not touching the wall. And then my left leg in this case is directly underneath me. And then from here, pushing against the wall, and then I'm going to bend.
Yep. And it's really important that it starts from the hip, that you're not just jamming your knees forward. You're bringing your hip back first and then working through. Yeah, really good. And I would say too, you have good movement, so you're already there, but make sure that this foot is pointing straight ahead. Okay, because some people will be external rotators and walk like this, and they'll set up like this. And then you're doing this and jamming on your knee all the time. And then the knee, I would say we like it to track kind of around the second toe. So you don't want that knee falling in the midline. You don't want it going way out. You want to kind of have it tracking over that second toe. If you have a knee pain or a knee issue, just slide this foot down the wall and put it on the floor, but keep the same pressure in, but now you're taking a little bit of your body weight away. Maybe move it in so it's right in line with the other one. Yeah, there you go. But still push into the wall and see how that takes a bit of the heat off, but you're still getting the same work because you're exactly, yeah. So those are our prehab. And again, the best way to figure out the perfect prehab routine for you is to get an assessment with a strength and conditioning coach or a therapist to find out, yeah, shameless plug, but for real, like if you've got a shoulder issue, go and get it checked out. Don't wait. Make sure that you've got mobility in your T-spine. You need to have movement in your shoulder. You got to be able to move through the full range of motion. Yeah. If you can't move through full range of motion pain-free, you're going to struggle in tennis. You're going to be compensating, and then all it does is it shifts things from now it's, okay, I fixed my shoulder, but I just haven't fixed the issue. It's my elbow. You see it all the time.
All the time. Yeah,
exactly.
All the time. Perfect. That was great. That was really amazing. Yeah. Learned a lot today. Some of the exercises that I've never done before either, so that was very helpful and informative. If you like the video, leave us a comment below and let us know if you want to see more of Sarah. We will link the description for active life conditioning in the description below. Any other services you might need, they have them all. Check them out, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
There, get those arms coordinated, other arm. There it is, there it is. There you go.